Do you struggle with tight feeling twists in yoga, where you may be feeling crunchy or ouchy in your lower back or your shoulder or your neck? I'm here to tell you that it might not be reflective of how flexible you are. It may be more reflective of how well your thoracic spine and ribs can move, or their mobility. My name is Diana Zotos Florio. I'm a physical therapist and a yoga instructor and the co-founder of Three's Physiyoga. And I'm here today to show you how you should optimally twist. And then we're going to give you some key moves to do in order to achieve that. So let's start by explaining how our body works best to twist. Commonly, when we do yoga, we'll feel it in our lower back or our shoulders when we do twists. In order to avoid that, we need to focus on getting mobility in the joints that are designed for rotation. So that would be the thoracic spine joints. Those are the part of our spine in our chest. They connect to our ribs, and they are designed for rotation. They rotate best when we're in a slight kyphosis or rounding, and they rotate best when the ribs move well as well. So we get movement in 3 joints for thoracic rotation: the facet joints of the thoracic spine, and the 2 sets of joints connecting the ribs, the sternocostal and the costovertebral joints. That's why breath is so important, because every time we breathe, we get movement in our ribcage, ideally. All right, so we're going to focus on unlocking those joints today for a more easeful twist. The first thing we're going to do is see how a twist feels in your body. So you can sit like I am on a couple of blocks or in a chair, and I want you to sit up as you would before you twist in a yoga class, and then spin yourself to the right. What do you feel? Do you feel ease? Do you feel stiff in your low back or your shoulder or your neck? Check in. Are your ribs moving? Or is it just your shoulder or your lower back or your hips? Check in again. Just go to the right. How far are you going? What's it feel like at the end? Are you stuck? Can you go any further? Now turn to the other side. Try not to use your hands to push you along, but really just twist with your spine. That's mobility. Do you feel your ribs moving? Your low back, your shoulder? Do you feel stiff, sore? Which side moves more freely? Just take that information in. And then we'll do some movements in this video, in this class, to try to make that feel different. All right, so you've gotten your information, and now let's try to make a change. Diaphragmatic breath can make a huge change in how well we move in this area. A lot of us don't breathe optimally all day. Maybe we breathe by shrugging our shoulders like an accessory breath. Maybe we hold our breath. A low, slow diaphragmatic breath gets movement of the ribs. We're going to do a 360 breath together. And that's just going to help us get some more movement. You can take your hands to the side of your rib cage and close your eyes. We're going to focus on movement of the ribs, and I'm just going to guide you through. Take a deep breath in and see if you can feel both sides of your bottom ribs move into your hands, out to the side. Exhale, let it go. 2 more times like that. Inhale. Feel the ribs expand laterally or sideways as you inhale. And then exhale. 1 more time. See if you can feel even expansion on both sides as you breathe in and breathe out. The next 2 breaths, I want you to think about feeling the front ribs move forward. So place your hands on the front ribs, breathe in, and feel your ribs move forward and out. Again, forward and out. It's hard. Now, the next 2 breaths, I want you to think about breathing into the back ribs and feeling the back ribs inflate and move slightly backwards. Eyes open or closed. Breathing in and breathing out and breathing in and breathing out. Now take 2 breaths where you try to put it all together. Your inhale, you fill and move the ribs forward, side, and back. Breathing in, forward, side, back. Breathe out. Breathe in, forward, side, back. And breathe out. Now, breathe in, forward, side, and back deeply. Keep that inflated and exhale as you twist, but don't squeeze too hard. Breathe in, come back to center. Breathe out. Breathe in, forward, side, and back. Twist to the left and exhale. Just noting, does that make a change in how your twist feels? Now we're getting more ribcage mobility. Let's unlock some thoracic spine mobility now. So move your blocks off to the side. Let's start with a cat-cow. The thoracic spine can move in more directions than just rotation. We can move into flexion. So I want you to round your spine, but think about starting that rounding from like the bra strap line, not from your pelvis. So you're pushing into that bra strap if you wear a bra, and then you're rounding the bones above your bra strap, leading all the way up to the base of your skull. And you're trying to think about opening them up and really making a C shape. And those 12 vertebrae, like they're moving away from each other, like you're rounding over a big physio ball and really making a C shape with your spine. And then let that go. Come just to neutral and then move into that cow spine. Let's do another cat spine where we get that big C shape in the thoracic spine, beginning with your bra strap vertebra moving first. So that's an exhale. And then really making a C shape all the way through this region, trying to make even more room between each vertebra. And then inhale, cow spine. Exhale, cat spine, thoracic spine focused. Big C, feel the shoulder blades spreading apart. Inhale and back to neutral. Good. And then from here, we'll add in a thread the needle, but we'll make it kind of active. So take your left arm out to the side, and I want you to imagine we're going to rotate open to the left, but we're not going to do it from our arm leading the way. We're going to do it from the back left ribs leading the way. So take your left hand behind your head and imagine there's like a plunger attached to your back left ribs. And that plunger is pulling your back left ribs up to the ceiling. So you're really twisting your rib cage here more than your shoulder or your back or your neck. You might not go as far, and that's okay. That's your inhale. And then exhale, roll the front left ribs down toward the right, spinning around an axis like you're a chicken on a spit. Inhale, back left ribs lift up to the ceiling. And exhale, left back ribs come down and roll under you. Good. Switching sides, right hand behind your head. And suction cup onto that right back ribs. Roll the right back rib cage up to the ceiling. Don't lead with the shoulder or the back. Good. Ooh, you might not go as far. And then roll the right back ribs under you. You may feel some cracks. That's normal as you're just getting a little more segmental mobility. And come down. Good job. All right. So we've worked on twisting and rounding. Let's do a little tiny bit of active mobility now. So we've done that breathing to mobilize the ribs in those tiny joints. And then we've done some rounding and extending in cat-cow and thread the needle. Let's try now in the sitting position to see if we can rotate even more. So cross your arms across your chest like a genie. Once you've got your arms crossed, I want you to think about your rib cage being stacked on top of your pelvis, not extended or rounded, right? We talk about a lot in Physiyoga. Imagine your rib cage is like a lampshade. Imagine that lampshade is shining, that light is shining directly into the bowl of your pelvis. The light's not shining forward or back behind you. Then arms crossed. And then I want you to think about spinning to the right, but start with the bottom rib spinning first, and then the rib on top of it spinning. So one rib at a time, rotating to the right. Keep going. When you feel like you get stuck and you can't go any further, stop. Take a deep breath into the right side of your rib cage. Now exhale. See if you can go a tiny bit further with keeping your low back relaxed and your shoulder relaxed. You may feel your oblique working. Come back to center. Let's twist to the left. Start with the left bottom rib, and then you'll twist the second rib, third, fourth, fifth, like a spiral staircase. Shining the rib cage lampshade into the bowl of the pelvis. Try not to change. Okay, this side is way stiffer for me. So I'm going to breathe into my left side of my rib cage, right here. Try to expand. And exhale. Twist and spiral more. Yeah, you may feel more. I feel a lot of oblique work, and you may feel more range. Good. And then come back to center. All right. The last thing you can do is work on bringing this mentality of stacking the rib cage, getting full diaphragmatic breath, and using mobility drills into your yoga class. So what does it look like to bring this type of twist into yoga? So if you're going to do something like a revolved chair, first thing I would think about is sitting into that chair pose and then shining the ribcage lampshade into the bowl of my pelvis, pressing my palms together. And now instead of wrenching yourself into extension and into your back and shoulder, can you keep your rib cage stacked and spin your ribs from the bottom to the top as you twist? And make it an active twist where you're really using your core to spin you. And then if you get that range, you can hook it. And then once you've hooked it, breathe into the back ribs. So good. And what's happening is we're not going to go as far because we're using the true mobility of the spine, keeping the stack, and taking the stress off the low back and shoulder. What about a twisting triangle? So I'm going to grab my blocks. And if I'm going to do a revolved triangle to the left, I'm going to really use my blocks. I'll take my right hand to my blocks. Now, you might not need your blocks as stacked as me, but I really like to have them stacked. When I come into that forward fold, I'm going to shine the ribcage lampshade into the bowl of my pelvis. I'm going to start by taking my left hand behind my head, just like we did in Thread the Needle. And then I'm going to imagine that plunger on the left back ribs rotating and spinning me like a chicken on a spit. I'm not doing this where I'm moving into extension in my shoulder and my lumbar spine. But I'm really stacked and twisting, unlocking mobility in those 3 thoracic spine joints. And that's where I get. If I bring that arm into it, now I'm really respecting my thoracic spine mobility. I'm using my core. And if I want to go a little further, I might breathe into my left back ribs. And exhale, spin more. Revolve the left back ribs up, the right ribs down. And come out of it. All right. Here's what I would recommend. Practice that version of cat-cow, that version of thread the needle, that version of 360 breath every day to keep really mobile joints in your thoracic spine. When you do twists in life and in yoga classes, bring these ideas with you so you kind of keep that movement happening. If you want to learn more about this Physiyoga approach, where we're applying biomechanics, making changes in how we move through repatterning and yoga, please check out our website for our advanced teacher training or our online studio where you can find classes tackling all of this and so much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more classes or knowledge. Thanks for following.